So tonight we're going to talk about embodying consciousness, higher states of consciousness. And for me, what that requires is for me to get in touch with my physical self, and which means I actually have to open up into feeling all of these areas where I tried to cover up some pain and unconsciousness to somehow hide from something that's actually happening to me, which requires you to go unconscious. And so the reason you're at the consciousness that you are is because that's where you intended to be, through the combination of all of your decisions and choices. And so what we want to know the answer to is, how can we effectively change that without having to put more than half the effort in the new direction than has occurred in all previous decisions before, so that this one can be the controlling one? So this decision can't have to come through an ever-expanding, overwhelming influence and pressure against all other points of view. That's what we're moving away from. That's how we've tried to operate here. And so that requires me to get in touch with my body. And this body has been shut down dramatically my whole life. But it's the one that I'm working with, and so I have to take responsibility for it with all its flaws. With all of its shutdowns. It's not exactly a free-flowing, physical reality. It's very withdrawn and protected. So everything in me, physically, that's unconscious is something that I failed to face when it first came up. And so I have to go into my unconsciousness, into everything that I've covered up about myself, and go back in and embrace it until it's free. And it doesn't really get any more complicated than that. You embrace it until it frees up. Whatever it is, you open and embrace it and hold it until it relaxes and unravels and can move freely on its own again, instead of being stuck in you or in your body. So if we're going to increase our consciousness here, we have to increase our presence in the body. We can't just be drawing from outside the body continuously. We have to be at home here with our vehicle too. And we have to embrace it until it resonates with us, with our wholeness. So embrace your body with your wholeness. so they can sense what it's like when you're free. And to show you in each moment, where it is and how it's opening and how you can be supportive of that. And then you just allow your body to unwind and to move freely as it surrenders and releases everything that's bound you and limited your self-awareness, limited your consciousness, and limited your ability to speak and move freely. You have to confront who you've been being here. Because the reality that we complain about, which is everything that we consider to be other, and everything that you consider to be yourself too. Everything that you own about what's going on in your body. The body is the part that hasn't awakened. It's holding on to the cellular memory of everything that life has experienced. That your life, and back through your ancestors. See, just because there's a better path than another in an objective sense at the beginning, that's not what you want to know yourself as permanently. If you're going to awaken, it's in this body. And it's in this now. Because that's when you're posing this question to yourself. And the answer should be now. How open, how free, how awakened can you be right now, right here? Here with me in this moment. How far will you open? Will you open enough for the divine to be free and flowing through you? I know you want to say yes, so keep opening until it actually is a yes, until it's actually happening. No more thoughts or theories or feelings about it. No plans for progression to move into that, just Choose that now as your experience. What happens to a body that opens to a miraculous transformation? And feel that answer and let it happen. How much is it asking you to let go? How much is it asking you to surrender? How much is it asking you to be aware of and responsible for? Because if you can feel it, it's your responsibility, nobody else's. Whatever you feel, only your responsibility. And so you're supposed to embrace it with your consciousness, with your love, with your appreciation and attention and your question of saying, okay, here I am. Let me understand you. And then open until you do understand them, and then the purpose is served, the communication's passed, and it moves on, and you're free, and it is too. It's how you get rid of troublesome entities too. They've got such more beautiful options available to them than harassing you, that as soon as you both realize that, you go, well, I guess we're done here. And on to the real adventure. That is the transformational shift and the experience of transmutation of, the profane into the divine, and the divine in the profane. And all of that causing a full awakening as your experience of yourself. So whatever you feel in the body that's limiting, that's what you embrace. Until you understand it. And in that understanding, you and it are set free from each other. Boy, there's a lot that I'm not set free from right now. This is more about feeling in your own body than anything else. Continually opening and opening to receiving and understanding and knowing more and more and more about where you've held yourself back, how you limited yourself and why, and how you're now taking responsibility for all of that and moving it all in a transcendent way. The past doesn't matter. It's only what can this present be. Can we experience ourselves continuously opening in more and more freedom of self-expression and experience and understanding? Yeah. We can open and stay in that opening, that continuous opening, the continuous expansion. And at some point, as you move back into that continuous expansion, nothing that used to limit you can hold on to you anymore. Because you're not the limitations of the you that you used to be. As you open your awareness to include all time and space, the limitations in the present become lighter and lighter. And there's been a lot of them in me, and I don't know what caused them. And I don't know why it's been such a difficult thing for me to confront. You know, I've been sensing this, it feels like my entire life. So finally being able to feel it, to see it, to know it, and understand it, it was life as we chose it to be. And now we're here, able to open and be free. The past doesn't matter, only the present. Can you open and be free right now? That's what you're feeling, is where you're not open and free. And that's what you embrace, that feeling of not being open or free. And you embrace it and you hold on with compassion, with grace. You're not letting go of this trauma. This traumatized spirit that you have been and that I have been. We're embracing that until it's free. Free to not be me anymore. Free from being the defining nature of what people could expect of me. When you choose to awaken in the moment, the limitations of the past, are washed away in that opening. Yeah, my limitations have been so deeply embedded in the body. They've been kind of difficult to get at. Even though, so many of them are gone now, still it's sort of overwhelming. All the ways that I limit myself, all the ways that I go unconscious, all the ways that I deny responsibility. Well, if you want that greater consciousness, if you want that opening and awakening, you're responsible. You have to say yes to yourself and then let it happen. Because you're close enough to it now that you can say yes if you focus on it. Yeah, say yes to you in a divine way. Not in your ego, but say yes to yourself divinely. Open up to knowing and experiencing exactly what that would be. And then stay open and let it happen. Receive it. Wish I knew the best way to get what body work would help me release this physically faster, and I need to get some of that done. So in my silence, of course, I'm connecting my unconscious beingness here with everything I've been talking about. So I have to go through that connection and that embrace and that release and that surrender as my own experience in order to be free of it. And therefore, that has my attention instead of talking, because I have to get to my next release and then speak from there. Yeah, you're not supposed to be here seeking for your freedom all day, every day. You're here to make your choice and then to be free, to be aware, to focus on your limitations, your awareness there until they dissolve away, all the inappropriate ones. Then learn how to operate a body that's no longer restricted or held back or diseased. So as you embrace the body with your consciousness, then the body is free from all of the effects of a lesser consciousness than you. So if you come in clean, then your presence and taking ownership of the body is the only action that you need to focus on. Taking responsibility, experiencing your universal nature and truth, and staying in that awareness, and allow the body to get into a resonance, a harmonic resonance with that expanded condition of wholeness that you're in. So the body gets to let go of all of the acts of suppression against it. Doesn't have to hold it on anymore. Hold on to it. And for me, it seems to be a lot. It seems to be more than I can get through in any one session, frankly. But it sure gets close. Close enough for me to begin to experience what it is for me to be a free being. And to begin to take baby steps, learn how to stand up and move as a truth that I haven't allowed myself to be here before. So when you're looking at and feeling the solidities, the barriers, the emotions, the limitations, all of that's what was created as you fell in consciousness. So that's where you wake up. You wake up at the depths of your unconsciousness. And you willingly embrace what you've never been able to face before. The fact that you might be evil. And as soon as you don't care what the truth is, just that you know it and be it and have it and understand it and express it, then you know that in fact that is not an evil thing. It's what sets you free. That personal responsibility for life and reality as it is, because of who you chose to be here and how you express that. That's what surrenders when it says it's still not good enough. If you're the one saying it's still not good enough, and I'm certainly the one that's saying it's still not fucking good enough by a long ways, then you're the surrenderer. That's it. You have to give everything that you are to the truth that sets you free. Now, from some points of view, that feels like you're actually giving something up. And the only thing you're giving up is the stuff that you didn't know how to unwind that had trapped you so expertly. Yeah, so it's time to awaken and be free. And feel that in your own body, your own mind, your heart, your soul, every aspect of your being. From your heart to the center of your bones and muscles, blood, everything. Everything in you, self-aware, is cosmic consciousness. So you keep feeling your body, keep feeling those limitations, and as you feel them and you embrace them, you explore them until you've experienced everything it is. Then you've set it free. Doesn't have to be that anymore, because you fully duplicated it. You free yourself by setting this reality free. Wherever this reality is fucked up, feel the cause of it inside your own experience of yourself. And embrace that until it can't hold on the structure of its existence anymore. And lets go. Says, okay, I just saw at least 10 new places be so much better than this for me. Thanks for taking responsibility. I'm out of here. That's how you deal with your opponents. Which is, what is it that opposes your freedom other than you? Well, there's a bunch of points of view that do, because you were opposing them. So first thing, stop opposing them. Let them be. exactly the way that they are, the way they're supposed to be. Exactly the way that they are is where they're supposed to be, okay? Realize that. They're exactly the way they're supposed to be. Which is hard to take. So how do you know who to deal with? If you want to have divine flow or the most satisfying experience, it has to be a magnificent thing. So how do we move into magnificence? How much more presence does it take than who and what we are limiting ourselves into being here? It's so much more, but it's not as if you have any lack. It doesn't diminish any other aspect of you to have more of you here. More of you here is better for more of you everywhere. Because you're the one that's supposed to be the physical reflection of the divine truth that sets us all free. You're supposed to be the embodiment of the Creator Goddess. Be nice to see and feel as you open up into that. Open to that being your experience of yourself. Not the idea of it, the actuality of it. What does it feel like when a woman awakens into her demigodness? When one transcends the limits of human potential. Even though it's against the rules, it's really not against the rules. At least not the ones that are assigned to you. Yeah, we still need to do a lot of stretching and get some body work done. Because I think my body's misalignment is a big cause of my physical limitations on flowing. But that's okay. I'm willing to open as much as necessary for it to just happen easily and naturally, not be a crisis. So as we fill our body more and more integrally, as we move deeper and deeper into experiencing our physical expression, the more comfortable we become with it, the more comfortable it becomes of us. And the more relevant the moment, it makes the relevance of the moment superior to anything that happened in the past or anything that is programmed instinctually. Instinctually. You become conscious enough to move beyond the laws of limitations. I have so much density in me, it's unbelievable. But it's all moving in turn, so I can't complain too much because it keeps getting better. Well, I think we kind of worked our way through it enough to know that that's what we're supposed to continue doing. So I'm going to go sit on the couch and continue embracing and taking responsibility and owning my body experience. So, at any rate, thank you and good night.